After leaving the Lake Mead National Recreation Area, our first stop would be in Chloride, Arizona. The first time we've ever visited Chloride was because of something we had read in Arizona Highways. Chloride is what is called a living ghost town. It was founded about 1863 and was a mining town. They mined for silver, gold, lead, zinc, and turquoise. At its peak, it had about 5,000 inhabitants, and today there are only about 300 people. There is a restaurant there called Yesterday's, and we used to stop to eat there. It's changed owners a few years back, and we have not eaten there since it changed owners. Back in 2004, my wife always said I took her to the finest places around, so I booked us a room next door at Shep's Miners Inn. The restaurant was once a stagecoach repair shop, and inside you can see hooks on the ceiling that were used to lift the stagecoaches off their carriages, and the huge doors that opened to get a stagecoach inside. Around the restaurant, an inn was built from adobe made of sand and mud from local stream beds. The walls are 12 inches thick. The food at the restaurant was also very good. We spent 2 nights there in 2004 and had a lot of fun exploring the area. There was a silversmith shop in Chloride Karen liked to stop at and buy jewelry. The man who did the silversmith work has passed away, but his wife continues to make the jewelry. Actually, the silversmith work they do is very, very similar to what I do these days. In the late 1800s, the inn was initially built for passengers on the Butterfield stage line to rest after a difficult journey through the desert. As the stagecoaches gave way to railroad, the rooms were converted to lodging for miners and their families. When horseless carriages overtook the railroads for travel, the historic building was extended to become an early motor court on the main highway through Chloride, which today is 2nd Street. In 2002, the inn was converted back to its original use as a modern-day motel. We were there in the summer of 2008, and the owner of the restaurant was telling us about the big bash they put on for New Year's Eve. So in 2008, we spent New Year's Eve there. They served a wonderful 5-course meal, and they had a band from the big city, Kingman, there to play for us. We also remember that big motorhomes like what we were driving would park outside and spend the night there. My aunt lived in Prescott, Arizona, so many times we would plan a trip exploring Arizona and end up at her place in Prescott to check up on her. Because of those trips, we have explored Arizona more extensively than any other state in the United States. And besides, we have both found Prescott to be one of the best places in the U.S. to visit. We just love how they preserve their Western heritage. This is where we parked and had lunch that day in Prescott and in Chloride. We just fired up the generator and turned on the AC. It was about 105 degrees outside, but we were comfortable. Chloride likes to tout that they have the oldest continuously operating U.S. post office in Arizona. Chloride's peak years were between 1900 and 1920, when some 75 mines were in operation in the area. In 1910, the railway was again extended directly to the Tennessee mine, the largest in the area. After we left Chloride, we stopped at Kingman Turquoise, or also known as Coal Ball Processing. Our first time here was also back in the 90s, and the place was very small. The Colball family owns a turquoise mine in the nearby mountains and has operated it since the 1960s. They have been very innovative in the products that they make from turquoise, and we purchase a lot of different materials here for our jewelry. Turquoise was the first stone in recorded history of man to be used as a gem, according to the Library of Congress. Our first stops at Kingman Turquoise was for Karen to buy finished jewelry. Then it changed to purchasing beads, and these days we buy rough turquoise that I cut and polish, and Karen wire wraps it, and we purchase composite bricks to make into jewelry. These are some of the composite bricks that I buy to make jewelry. I can cut about 25 to 30 what are called cabochons out of this, and these bricks sell for about $200. The first time we were ever in Kingman was probably 1995. We were simply passing through on Route 66 on our way to Oatman, Arizona. We found the town interesting, and there were a number of things to do and see. In 1995, it had a population of about 15,000, and today it has just over 30,000, so it has grown quite a bit. The old powerhouse, built around 1907, would supply power and water for the area. In 1938, the plant was put on standby, however, just because of the power that was being received from the new generating stations of the recently completed Boulder or Hoover Dam. Today, it serves as a Chamber of Commerce information center, a wonderful Route 66 museum, a museum of electric cars, and there is a nice gift shop. You can also get information on things to see and do in the Kingman area. And some of those things are the Railroad Museum, the Mojave Museum of History and Arts, the Benelli House, the Hualapai Mountain Park, the Sarabat Foothills Recreation Area. These are just some of the things to do in Kingman area. This is the old Kingman Powerhouse that's now a visitor center and a Route 66 museum, and also a nice gift shop. On the right is the old Santa Fe train station that's now a railroad museum. These are just a couple pictures of the KOA that we stayed at in Kingman, and we again got to see a full moon rise.